I asked Carlos this as well, but aside from the results early this season, is there a specific thing that you are watching for to say, okay, we're on the right track as a group?
I think early in the season, you want to see a team camaraderie and a team energy that you think is consistent, and that can lead to winning baseball. And I felt like we had that in spring training, and so I'm eager to see how we carry that over into the regular season. Clearly, you always want to play clean baseball. I think we have a team that is capable of playing clean baseball, and so I'll be looking for that as well.
Pat?
David, you were confident in this team that you put together a playoff team prior to signing J.D. Martinez. Now that he's with the organization, what does that do for your expectations and the club's expectations moving forward?
I think JD's a nice fit for us, and we're looking forward to having him here. I also have a lot of confidence in the rest of the guys on the roster. I think it's a team that hopefully will complement all the different pieces pretty well, and JD's going to be a really nice part of that.
What did you learn about your team in spring training?
We're trying not to make too many evaluations in spring training. I think I was impressed by the work ethic, how the guys came together, how our coaching staff came together. We have a lot of new faces in there, including me, including our manager. And so spring training is a great time for everyone to get to know each other, and I think that went very well.
And what did you learn about Carlos in particular in spring?
I think it was just a continuation of everything that we learned about him through the interview process, through the off season. He's a very good communicator. He has the ability to talk to all sorts of different people associated with the organization, and he takes that part of his job very seriously, and I think that's a very important part of his job.
Carlos mentioned that Reid-Foley had an MRI on his shoulder.
Yeah.
What did that show?
He's got an impingement in his shoulder. It's not something that we think is, I think, overly serious. But clearly it was serious enough where he and our medical staff felt he couldn't pitch right now, and I'm certainly glad he said something after the workout rather than trying to gut through this into the regular season.
Where do you see your biggest source of strength?
Biggest
source of strength?
I think the depth that we have throughout the roster is what I'd point to. We understand how important it is to construct not only a 26-man or a 40-man, but really give yourself the ability to go 50, 60 deep over the course of the year. And I think we've constructed a group that should give us a chance to do that. And we also understand that roster construction never really ends. We'll continue to try to improve our team, improve our depth, and improve our organization even as we get into the regular season.
Abby?
Based on what you've seen from Starling Marte in spring training, I know we asked you before if it was realistic or what the realistic expectations were. Now that you've seen him in spring training, do you have expectations, and what are they for him this season?
He's a healthy player, and I think that's a really good start. And I'm not going to put any arbitrary expectations on what we're going to get this year, but I'm really happy he's healthy. I know he feels good. He's in a confident place right now. And that's what's most important right now.
Now that Senga has begun playing catch again, what is maybe an updated or revised expectation for how long this process will take?
I think we probably need to get a little bit farther into his throwing program before we're able to provide a concrete time frame. But we're making good progress, and probably another week or two we can probably map out a real throwing program and get a sense of when he can be back on a major league mound.
Joe?
To that point, how do you see the rotation potentially holding up without Senga throughout these early portions here?
Well, we have confidence in the five that we have slotted into our rotation right now. We have confidence in the guys in AAA. We have to make some really tough decisions at the end of camp to send guys down. And we have guys with major league experience who have had success up here, and we also have some pretty good young arms who are starting in the AAA rotation, some of whom I would expect are going to impact our club this year.
When you look at your bullpen, obviously a huge deal is Edwin Diaz is back, but you also brought a lot of bridge guys in the offseason. How do you feel about that depth and the options that it gives the manager on how to choose how to bridge from the starter to Diaz?
Yeah, I feel good about that. And I've talked about this before. The best bullpens often evolve over the course of a season. So we don't exactly know how all those pieces are going to fit together. And I would imagine there are going to be some pieces that we're not even talking about right now that over the course of the year end up making a pretty large impact in our bullpen. But when you have someone like Edwin at the back end, and then we have the various options we have, all of whom have pretty good arms, I'm confident that we're going to be able to put together a good pen over the course of the year.